Welcome to the Spiritist Companion podcast. My name is Yuri Castro, and I'll be your companion on this journey where we study, reflect, and put Spiritist teachings into practice. If you enjoy what you hear, don't forget to subscribe, to follow our pages, and especially to send this podcast to someone else. And today, my dear friends, we're going to talk about a topic that I think applies to us all. Is a topic that we often see in study books, we often see when we are going to Spiritist talks: forgiveness. Why is it so difficult to forgive? Does forgiveness mean forgetting, accepting wrongdoing, or allowing suffering to continue? And what does Spiritism teaches us about it? Shall we reflect together? First, let's go to Matthew chapter 18 in this passage right here. If your brother has sinned against you, go to him and make his wrong known in private between you and him. If he listens to you, you will have gained a brother. Then Peter approached him and said, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother when he has sinned against me? Up to 7 times? Jesus answered him, I do not tell you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7 times. This specific passage with Simon Peter, the apostle, gained some fame, and I don't think it's by accident. When Peter was asking him how many times he had to forgive his brother who had sinned against him, he was referring to something that was very much punishable back then. The word sin here, or how he says sinned in the past tense, refers to this idea that it was something very grave that somebody had done against him. Therefore, Jesus, our dear, dear Master, was so good in answering that, not up to 7 times, because 1 time is hard, 2 times very hard, and like I said, something that was even punishable. But Jesus says 70 times 7 times, which means 490 times, which means unconditionally. The codifier of Spiritism, Allan Kardec, in his book, The Gospel According to Spiritism, a book published back in 1864, he's going to tell us on chapter 10, which is called Blessed Are the Merciful, related to the Sermon of the Mount. He's going to tell us about forgiveness. He's going to explain very well how forgiveness is not simply a beautiful gesture. It is a spiritual necessity. He goes even further to mention that there are 2 ways to forgive. One is what he calls a noble and great, truly generous, without any hidden thoughts. And he also mentions that with this way, the person delicately avoids hurting the self-esteem and susceptibility of the adversary, even when that same adversary has no justification for his or her acts. And of course, this is the much harder way we think about it, because first of all, there's no hidden thoughts, there's no secondary gain, we can even say, with this type of forgiveness. Additionally, this type of forgiveness delicately, he says, avoids hurting the self-esteem of the other person, even if the other person wronged you, even if they truly did something terrible to you, you would avoid hurting their self-esteem in this specific way to forgive. And then he also talks about the second way. He says when someone who has been offended or thinks they have been offended imposes humiliating conditions on the supposed adversary, making felt the weight of the pardon, which can only cause further irritation instead of calming. Look at that. It's the opposite of the second part of the first one, when we were talking about avoid hurting the self-esteem. No, with this one, the person imposes humiliating conditions on the supposed adversary for the forgiveness to occur. Moreover, he even talks about how this person will offer a hand to the offended, but not with benevolence, only to say, look how generous I am. So in this one, there's also a secondary gain, maybe a status or some sort of acknowledgement from others that this person is so generous, look how well they forgave. We can reflect and compare and contrast and see how one forgiveness, or one type of forgiveness, the first one I talked about, comes from the heart, and the other one comes from the lips. And the second one, the one that comes from the lips, can generate chains of hatred, can chain us all and chain our adversaries as well in disagreements that can outlast our physical bodies as well. We have plenty of cases like this in the books by André Luiz, psychographed by Chico Xavier, where we see enemies from multiple lifetimes because of a lack of forgiveness. And what does it truly mean to forgive? Well, first let's talk about what forgiveness is not. It's not pretending nothing happened. It's not approving the wrongdoing. It's not continuing to allow the abuse or instantly forgetting the pain. Forgiveness in this context, my dear friends, can mean no longer feeding resentment, freeing ourselves from the desire for revenge, which a lot of the times comes from the resentment, and wishing good even after being hurt, not putting any obstacles for the reconciliation. And this is an inner process. This is something that happens inside where we are freeing ourselves, we're liberating ourselves through this forgiveness. We have to remember too that God does not demand immediate perfection from us, but He demands sincere effort. And there's something important because all of us make mistakes. At different moments in life, we can all say that we hurt someone, that we have disappointed others, that we had acted impulsively. And when we understand this, I think that we can develop greater humility towards the mistakes of others. Remember the indulgence that we talked about a couple of episodes ago? Yeah, that's what this is. When we are able to see that other people are also flawed, that they will also make mistakes, and that we will too, it can create this bridge to forgiveness. And sometimes forgiveness may be hard to achieve because we are judging the other person. That's why Jesus mentioned in the parable of the speck and the beam, if we can call it like that, when He says, why do you see the speck in your brother's eye and fail to notice the beam in your own? Because very often we are severe with others but indulgent with ourselves. Forgiveness begins when we recognize, like I said, that we too are spirits in the process of learning. And for those out there listening to me right now who struggle with self-forgiveness, remember that you are flawed as well, and we make mistakes as well. We must be kind to ourselves for the healing to occur, for us to liberate ourselves through forgiveness. After all, my dear friends, forgiveness frees the one who forgives. This is a very deep point because many people believe forgiveness only benefits the person who made the mistake, who's being forgiven. But the first person set free is the one who actually forgives. Holding on to resentment, refusing to forgive, can drain us emotionally. It can also mentally tie us to the past, which feeds ongoing suffering. Resentment, therefore, can create these invisible chains, and forgiveness breaks them. Those who harm us or hurt us often find themselves so attached to their own distress that deep down they suffer more than us, those that have been offended. And that's why when we forgive, we are not only liberating the other person, we're also liberating ourselves. Forgiveness, much more than a blessing for our supposed offenders, is and will always be the best for us. The Spirit author Emmanuel, who wrote through Chico Xavier, said that, and I love that passage. So now let's bring this teaching into real life situations. So first, within the family, I think it's probably one of the most obvious ones, because sometimes the deepest wounds, I believe, come from those closest to us. It could be in harsh words, or it could be because of disappointments or old conflicts. Forgiveness may begin with listening more, making room for new beginnings, and examining our pride. There may not always be immediate reconciliation, but there can be inner peace, for sure. Number 2, in relationships out there. So when someone hurts us emotionally, we may carry that pain for years, but remaining trapped in pain prolongs suffering. So forgiveness does not necessarily mean going back. It means moving forward without hatred. Number 3, in the workplace, where sometimes injustices happen. Criticism, competition, misunderstandings even. Forgiveness can appear through refusing to spread gossip, avoiding revenge, and acting with dignity. Number 4, I brought here on social media because today many discussions quickly become aggressive. Forgiveness there may also relate to avoiding responding impulsively, avoiding wishing to destroy the other person or to cancel them out, and mainly protecting our own peace. Last but not least, I do wanted to mention forgiving ourselves, because for some of us this may be one of the hardest challenges. Many people live trapped in guilt. Past mistakes continue weighing on them. But Spiritism teaches us that true repentance should lead to transformation, and we are all evolving. And if forgiveness is something that is so important, like our Master Jesus had taught us, why do we struggle so much still? Well, I think that one of the reasons is our pride, because our pride still speaks loudly within us. When we're hurt, we want immediate justice. We feel the need for our pain to be acknowledged. We often want the other person to pay for what they did. Resentment seems almost to protect us, but in reality, it imprisons us. And this is a prison that we are the jailers. We have the key, and the key is called forgiveness. And another point here that I think it's important to highlight is that forgiveness does not always happen instantly. Most of the time it does not. Sometimes the wound will still hurt, the emotions will still be intense. And that's okay. Forgiveness is a journey, or forgiving someone else or ourselves can be a journey. And what matters is not feeling the hatred, not carry on these cycles of pain. Another reason why I think forgiveness is so hard is that many family and emotional reunions, in a way, are part of processes of learning and reconciliation. Sometimes former enemies can return together. Spirits connected by past deaths meet again. That's why forgiveness is so important in our spiritual evolution. And who better to teach us about that than Jesus, our supreme example? Even in the face of violence and injustice, he chose forgiveness. That demonstrated his spiritual greatness, where true forgiveness is born from understanding that we are all imperfect. In those dire moments, what did he say? Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now let's see some practical applications. How can we develop forgiveness in our daily life? 1, let's avoid feeding thoughts of revenge, because the more we dwell on pain, the more that pain will grow, resentment will grow. Number 2, let's practice empathy, trying to understand human limitations, even our own. Number 3, let's pray for those who hurt us, because this gradually transforms our heart. Number 4, let's work on our pride. Many resentments are born from it. And number 5, let's give time to the process. Forgiveness is an inner construction. My dear friends, forgiveness can transform the present and free us from the future. It does not erase pain immediately, but prevents pain from continuing to control our lives. Every time we choose to forgive, we become lighter. Our hearts can find more peace, and we grow closer to God. Because deep down, forgiveness is an act of freedom and an act of love. My dear friends, we reached the end of another episode 49 of the Spiritist Companion podcast. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And if this reflection touched your heart, please share it with someone who may be also searching for peace through forgiveness. We'll meet again next Monday for another episode. And until then, remain in peace. Free yourself from resentment and keep moving forward step by step with greater lightness in your heart. With fraternal love, your Spiritist Companion.